From the burning plains of a drought-stricken land. The human existential questions that emerge from the burning plains of a drought-stricken land. Reading books is difficult and boring. Is it really necessary to spend time reading words on the page? Many people living in this era might have had such thoughts. Especially when one is exhausted by life and barely coping with immediate realities, reading ancient stories or the lives of strangers may seem like a luxury. However, at times, unexpected empathy, comfort, and deep insight into life can be found within the most unfamiliar and distant stories. Today, the short story collection The Burning Plain by Juan Rulfo is precisely such a book. This book is the work of a Mexican author, which might initially seem far removed from us. Yet, the essential human existential questions, the pain and loneliness of life, and the struggle to find hope that unfold within these pages transcend time and deeply resonate with all of us. Set aside the burdens of knowledge or sophistication for a moment, and immerse yourself in the chilling yet scorching sensory experience evoked by the title The Burning Plain. 1. Into the arid tale of the burning plain. Juan Rulfo's The Burning Plain, published in 1953, is a collection of 17 short stories set in a small Mexican rural village. The first thing that overwhelms the reader upon beginning this book is the sense of dryness and desolation. The Mexican land Rulfo portrays is barren and scorched by heat, lacking even a single drop of rain. Similarly, the lives of its people are as rugged and arduous as the land itself. The setting of the stories, Mexico, experienced a tumultuous period in the early 20th century with the Mexican Revolution. While the revolution altered many aspects of life, it also left profound emotional scars. The characters in The Burning Plain are precisely those farmers and wanderers struggling in the aftermath of this revolution, along with their descendants. Most are poor and uneducated, deeply attached to the land, yet exposed to entrenched injustice and violence. Rulfo's prose is strikingly concise and restrained. Without unnecessary embellishments, his narration pierces directly to the core, giving readers the feeling of observing a desolate landscape. However, within this brevity lies the complex emotions of human beings, with the shadows of death, loneliness, and despair permeating the pages. The characters rarely speak, and their inner lives are revealed mainly through actions, brief dialogues, or silence. Readers can deeply empathize with their suffering and resignation, as well as their sometimes incomprehensible tragic fates through these silent languages. For example, in the titular story The Burning Plain, we see farmers desperately waiting for rain on a dry land to cultivate their crops. The displaced people, forcefully relocated by the government, struggle desperately for survival in a land devoid of water, yet no one helps them. This story is not just a report on drought, it symbolically portrays the fragility of humans against the vast forces of nature, and the suffering individuals endure in the face of apathy from society and the state. In another story, Tallulah, we meet people who live in the mountains, escaping from past violence and revenge. Unable to fully exist in the present, they suffer under the shadows of the dead. Thus, every story in The Burning Plain centers on profound themes such as the boundaries between life and death, the ghosts of the past, and inevitable fate. Although many characters meet tragic ends, their persistent attempts to maintain a minimum of human dignity and resistance still move readers deeply. Rulfo realistically portrays life while often blending elements of magical realism, where the line between reality and fantasy blurs. Dead characters speak as if alive, and past events persistently haunt present characters. This reflects the unique Mexican perspective on life and death, while also drawing readers into a deeper immersion in the narrative. His stories go beyond depicting a specific Mexican era, using universal language to convey the fundamental suffering and anxieties of humanity and the will to survive amidst them. 2. The implications of the arid plains and their connection to our lives. Although The Burning Plain seems to tell a distant story set in a Mexican countryside, its message transcends time and provides deep insights for us living in the present. The implications of this book include the following. Understanding human nature and expanding empathy. Rulfo's characters continue to live on despite extreme suffering and loneliness. Through their tragic lives, we witness how weak and yet resilient humans can be. Hearing the stories of those struggling at the bottom of society makes us reflect on many lives we have casually overlooked. It reminds us that somewhere in the world, there are still people risking everything for a single drop of water or a piece of food. This experience helps us reevaluate our own lives and expand our capacity for empathy toward the suffering of others. B. The weight of history and its impact on the present. Rulfo's novels show how past events like the Mexican Revolution continuously influence individuals in the present. Though the revolution has ended, its wounds and injustices still dominate people's lives. This can be directly applied to our society as well. The systems, culture, and even personal values we enjoy today are not free from the influence of past historical events. The Burning Plain makes us understand that history is not an old artifact locked in a museum but a living, breathing force in our current lives. It offers insight into how to trace the roots of our conflicts and difficulties back into history. C. Discovering the value of life amidst deprivation. The characters in The Burning Plain live in a state of extreme lack, drought, tragic love, and faint hope. Ironically, it is within this extreme deprivation that we become more clearly aware of the most fundamental desires and values of life. A single drop of water in thirst, a small piece of bread in hunger, and a tiny warmth in loneliness. When we realize that what we take for granted might be someone else's entire life, we come to deeply appreciate what we have. D. The power of silence and nonverbal communication. Rulfo's characters speak sparingly. Their pain is revealed not through lengthy explanations but through broken dialogues, bleak landscape descriptions, and deep silences. This invites readers to read between the lines and imagine or interpret the meaning behind the silence. In our modern society, an age of information overload, there is a growing tendency to explain everything with words and images. However, The Burning Plain shows that sometimes what is left unsaid can deliver the most powerful messages. It reminds us of the importance of making an effort to understand the emotions and situations beyond words in our communication with others. E. The essence of literature and the power of storytelling. Some people consider literature to be difficult and boring. However, The Burning Plain proves that literature is neither difficult nor boring. Though composed of simple stories and concise sentences, it carries profound questions about human existence and the essential pain of life. This book demonstrates how novels can be profound tools for understanding human beings and the world, going beyond mere entertainment. Literature has the powerful ability to let us experience others' lives, broaden our perspectives, and view the world with new eyes. 3. To you walking through the arid plains. The Burning Plain is by no means an easy, light-hearted read. Death, suffering, and despair are everywhere within its pages. Yet, precisely because of this, the book raises deeper questions about the meaning of life and the essence of human existence. Initially, it may feel foreign and distant, but the suffering and hopeless lives of Rulfo's characters will begin to echo the questions of life hidden within or that we might face ourselves. Reading is like traveling. As you turn the pages, you walk through unfamiliar lands, meet unfamiliar people, and step into their lives. The Burning Plain will lead you to the arid lands of Mexico, revealing the profound sorrow and resilience hidden beneath the scorching sun. There, you will come to appreciate the value of things we have always taken for granted and reflect deeply on the nature of humanity. Regardless of whether or not one is well-versed in culture or knowledge, every human being eventually confronts fundamental life questions. Why do we live? Why does suffering exist? For what do we carry hope? The Burning Plain does not provide clear answers to these questions, but it inspires us by showing the value of the questions themselves and the human spirit that silently endures them. If you are willing to challenge yourself by reading seemingly difficult or distant books, please open The Burning Plain. This book offers more than just reading a story. It presents a precious opportunity to experience the power of human life and destiny, as well as the true strength of literature. I hope you find your own meaning within the fiery lives of humans blazing across the arid plains.